But like you started your own, well, the podcast that you do. I think we had said this. It's not like a conspiracy podcast, just similar to sort of this, like sort of news and chatting.
Yeah, so there's like, well, we actually do like almost 3 different podcasts now. So there's Deck Chair and Yums, which is just me and Connor Keys, kind of like us just sitting around talking or whatever, like talking shit. And then we've got one where we just answer questions from people on Patreon. And then there's the Just Rabbit and On one, which was like, that kind of became conspiracy based. Yeah. So at the start of the lockdown, like, first of all, we're not conspiracy theorists. That's one of the things I'm definitely not. Like, that's been one of the things that's been happening over the last years. People are like, oh, you fucking think the Queen's a lizard? And you're like, no, I'm just not entirely sure that this is the best way to deal with COVID. So, but we ended up then just going, like, the way I describe it is Connor went down the rabbit holes and I held his feet. Yeah. So I was like, oh, right, okay, but I'm not in it. Like, I was just like, yeah, I down there, mate, you want more water?
Tearing on the edge.
Yeah, so that's kind of been a weird one where we've got like, yeah, every Monday I have to go and listen to like and talk about fucking politics. I fucking hate it.
Got a favourite conspiracy?
The funniest one I ever heard. I think it's hysterical, just because of the proof behind it. Right. So the funniest conspiracy I ever heard was that Barack Obama's gay, right, and Michelle Obama's a dude.
I've heard that.
Oh, right? Yeah, I've heard that. And people were like taking screenshots of her dress and stuff. But have you ever seen, is that a penis?
There's a picture of him and a man who looks really like Michelle Obama.
Yeah, but then there's also the proof they use. There's a bit where Michelle Obama is like dancing with him, and there's a photo of him standing beside this bloke, and there's a circle around the elbows, and they're like, it's the same elbow. And I'm like, I have the same elbow as Michelle Obama. It's a fucking elbow. Like, like. Or I tried to write a joke about it where it was like, if you could be identified by your elbow, your passport would look different. You'd be in boots, like, go on ahead. Like,
stop smiling.
Yeah. So that's the funniest one, I think. Some of them are mental, and then there's stuff where, because I'm seeing like Joe Rogan getting pulled across the coals at the minute, and a bit of me is like, I think there is some sort of truth in some things that were just, everything was called, anything that was especially during COVID, anything that was against what the government were saying became a conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. So I automatically became a tinfoil hat, Trump supporting fucking anti-vaxxer. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying I don't like being locked in the house. Yeah. If that's okay. Yeah. Especially when they're not fucking doing it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's one of the, some of the things that have come out in the last year or so. A bit of me's like, huh?
Yeah.
Anybody want to apologise to my high horse? Yeah,
especially now with the whole Boris thing, with them throwing the parties and stuff, and then it's like so many people got like fined for just.
I got fined. I got fined. I was doing a thing where, because it was mum and dad's house, gigs had come back a wee bit, and I started just going to a hotel once every couple of weeks to write jokes. So I would go to this. It was like a COVID safe hotel. So you checked in on your phone, used your phone to get into the room. You didn't talk to anybody. But I would go and like bring 2 bottles of wine, and I'd write jokes for a couple of hours, and then I'd like have a wee drink of wine. And the cops came to the door, and they were like, "Are you supposed to be here?" And I was like, "I think so. I mean, I paid for it." Like, now fair play to the cops, they were just doing what they were told to do, but they were like, the hotel's reserved for like people who need it. And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, homeless people and da da da." And I was like, "No offense, if a homeless guy had 98 quid to spend on this room tonight, I reckon he's doing all right." And
good days left.
Yeah, and so they were like, "So why are you here?" And I was like, "I'm a comedian." And I honestly thought they would go, "You borrow the blenders, mate." Like I was like, "Oh, no, nah, nothing." I was like, "I'm just here."
What do you call that? What's your name in the bar?
Oh, my clitoris. Yeah, no, art. But the cops, like, they were like, "We're going to have to go." Well, they just left at around 8 o'clock or something, and they came back at midnight. And by this stage, I was pissed, like purple teeth, hammer drunk. And
wine drunk as well.
Yeah, like proper like woo, like, and they came back and they're like, "Listen, we've been talking to our sergeant or whatever, and unfortunately we've deemed that your reason for being here isn't legit." And they're like, "So you're going to have to pack up your stuff, and we're going to fine you 200 quid, and you're going to have to leave the hotel."
What?
And I was like, but I'm drunk now, so I can't get home. There's no trains, and also if I have to leave this hotel, that means I'm homeless. And he was like, "Suppose you know it, so I qualify for staying here." And the cop went, "Fuck." Like, so I still paid the fine because I didn't want to get in trouble. But it was like there were certain things like that happened. Yeah. And then you're like, the Tories weren't even. Yeah. Like, and that's one that gets me is like, and I'll probably get sued now. But like when Robin Swan, the entire way through the pandemic, to me, Robin Swan was going, the reason this is getting worse is because people are breaking the rules. Yeah. All these people having parties, and so we all turned on each other. People were phoning cops on their neighbours.
Yeah.
And the whole time the government wasn't doing it. And for me, as someone who's looked into conspiracy theories, when I hear people going, "Can you believe they didn't abide by the rules?" I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you think they were doing?
Oh no.
And then I double down and go, if COVID was that bad, they'd be in a bunker.
Yeah.
Because they don't give a fuck about us. Like, do you know what I mean?